there appears to have been ancient complex migrations of Europeans, Polynesians and Caucasoid Ainu peoples to the Americas. All of these appear to have predated the arrival of American Indians. These Caucasoid remains are up to 13,000 years old and found mostly in Western America or Mexico. This places Caucasoid peoples in the Americas at least 2,000 years before the evidence of the first American Indians. However, the oldest sites of human habitation actually exist in the eastern part of America, and have produced spear points, toolkits, and other artifacts, all of which most closely resemble ancient European Silurian design, and not those of ancient Siberian Asians. These sites range from between 17,000 to 20,000 years old. These two lines of evidence converge to clearly suggest that the first people to migrate into the Americas were actually Europeans. This contention is further supported by findings in genetics, linguistics, historical accounts and even American Indian folk tales themselves. When this entire pattern of evidence is considered, it becomes increasingly clear that Europeans appear to have been the first Americans. Here is a short review of this evidence. First, the genetic evidence. Mitochondrial DNA research linking ancient Europeans and Americans, from between 12,000 to 36,000 years ago. Other research on markers known as human lymphocyte antigens, also show such a link as well. In the animal world, European or Eurasian dog DNA has been found in the Americas from approximately 9,000 years ago. These findings show multiple overlapping sources of genetic evidence linking Stone Age Americans to Europeans thousands of years ago, and falls in the same time frame as the oldest human settlements found in northeastern America. Next, it should be remembered that the oldest human remains ever unearthed in the Americas have heads which are long and thin, like the heads of white Western Europeans, Ainu or Polynesians, yet are unlike the broad-skulled Asian-descended Indians. They have been found mainly in the western U.S. due to favorable soil conditions, and there are 15 to 20 such skeletons which have been unearthed, and tend to be at least a few thousand years older than the oldest Indian remains. This is solid scientific evidence showing Caucasian peoples in the Americas before the Indian peoples, and in the range of 10,000 to 13,000 years ago. Next to remember is that the spear point designs are remarkably similar between Stone Age Europeans and their Stone Age American counterparts, yet they are dramatically different from Stone Age Asian spear points found along the Asian migratory route across the Bering Strait. This suggests that the oldest spear points found across all of the Americas came from Europe and not Asia. Additionally, the spear point distribution, and the ages of the oldest Stone Age archaeological sites suggest a migratory pattern moving from the east coast towards the west coast of North America, and not vice versa. A migratory pattern in this direction is consistent with a European first model and with Asian Indians arriving later to the Americas. Next, both Stone Age Europeans and Stone Age Americans had remarkably similar tool kits with tools such as bone needles, scrapers, carving tools known as burins, antler harpoons, bone point projectiles, and of course the bifacial spear point. The striking similarity of such tool kits, from well over 10,000 years ago in both European and American Stone Age peoples again suggests an ancient European migration to the Americas. Further, both peoples also used red ochre as part of rituals when bearing oversized decorative spear points. Over 10 of these sites have been uncovered in both Europe and North America. These are estimated to be up to 10,000 years old in America and 20,000 years old in Europe. It strains the imagination to believe that such similar cultural practices spontaneously emerged in both locations without Stone Age European and American contact tens of thousands of years ago. There is also linguistic evidence, showing language similarities between American Indian languages and ancient European languages, in particular the Basque language. Again, such similarities are not surprising given the other evidence, and point to remnants of language similarities between these peoples from ancient times. Additionally, even the American Indians themselves have ancient oral and written folk tales about having contact with white-skinned people with light-colored hair. This includes North American Indians such as Paiute Indians, Aztecs, Incans and Mayans. There is also ancient art which appears to show white-skinned people in the Americas before the arrival of Columbus. Even Spanish conquistador Pizarro noted in the 1500s that the ruling class in the Kingdom of Peru was fair-skinned with fair hair about the color of ripe wheat. Ripe wheat is yellow, or the color of dry grass. This is a clear reference to people with blonde hair. Additionally, both the Chapacoyas and Viracocha people of ancient Peru have been historically described as white. Here are actual pictures of pre-Columbian Peruvian mummies showing many with blonde or auburn hair, as well as long thin Caucasoid skull shapes. These mummies are approximately 2,000 years old, dating from before the arrival of Columbus. When similar ancient Peruvian mummies were analyzed, it was determined that their hair color had only changed minimally over time. Thus it was concluded that these were light hair-colored people when they were alive, and that they appeared to be a taller and thinner-headed people than current-day Peruvian Indians. Last, it should be remembered that analyses of ancient Peruvian mummies have shown the presence of European HLA genetic markers, providing multiple lines of converging evidence showing whites in the Americas in ancient times. Some have said that the transatlantic journey from Europe to North America would have been impossible, yet Stone Age peoples have been shown to routinely migrate thousands of miles by small boat, and that current-day Eskimos routinely make similar and very long hunting trips in the Arctic using wood and animal skin boats with technologies very similar to that used by Stone Age peoples. Present-day experts who study Eskimo culture say that such a transatlantic journey would have been quite possible. This overwhelming list of evidence supporting a Stone Age European migration to the Americas may come as a bit of a surprise to those not directly familiar with the literature. However, this entire pattern of evidence really has been an open secret for which the more recent and widely publicized Kennewick Man findings are only one of many important pieces. The 15 to 20 oldest human remains found across the Americas suggests an ancient complex migration of Caucasoid peoples predating the Indians in either North or South America. The skulls of these people show physical features which show European traits, Ainu traits and Polynesian traits. However, when combined with the oldest sites of human habitation and myriad of associated artifacts being found in the eastern USA clearly being descended from Solutrean culture, and then overlain with genetic, linguistic and historical findings, such a pattern clearly shows that the first Americans appear to have been Stone Age Europeans. A very important fact to remember is that most of these commonalities cluster in the northeastern part of North America and are linked with Europe. This convergence of multiple lines of evidence is entirely consistent with a European first migration to the Americas across the Atlantic during the last Ice Age, and remnants of ancient European people being most pronounced there. It is not consistent with the now discredited idea of American Indians arriving first across the Bering Strait. Further, it is also not consistent with the notion that the ancient Ainu or Polynesians arrived first from the west, although there is strong evidence of the presence of these peoples in the Americas before the Indians themselves. Additionally, when viewed in light of the many other ancient white migrations around the globe, it is in fact not particularly surprising. This astonishing revelation, that Stone Age Caucasoid Europeans were first to the Americas fundamentally rewrites the history of the peopling of the Americas, and is one of the most important historical discoveries of all times.